I gotta keep it real. It's a struggle and a hustle in my city, bruh. 2 strikes on parole with that semi-tuck. Double shots of my life in that Remy cup. Even my Crip niggas say they really feeling cub. Even my Hoover niggas say Manchester grooving. Finally winning after all the years I spent losing. And Europeans and they questioning my still whooping. Be out in sack with them Zilla niggas going stupid. It's in my blood to be the question, nigga, is you stupid? I'm doing 14 years, I don't need to prove it. It's Inglewood till I die, I'm trying to touch a billion. My nigga Ace not here, I gotta feed his children. I got family everywhere, it feels like a million. Just wanna let Whitney know I understand the feeling. They hate to see a real nigga on. Got a pocket full of stones, trying to make it back home. I'm grinding out here in this field where niggas get killed, so I gotta keep it real.
What's up, everybody? Big Herc, fresh out. You tuned in to another edition of our interviews, and I'm here in the presence of one of the greats, Mannchester from Inglewood. You know, we're gonna get his story. His people reached out, and we were finally able to make the meeting happen. And I know you guys like to hear the real, so I'm about to bring the real to you. I want him to kind of tell a little bit about where he's from, get his story, because you guys need to hear this, and we're going to take it from there. Mannchester, go ahead and lace him up on a little bit about your background.
What's up, man? I'm Mannchester from Inglewood. Like Big Herc said, first of all, I want to take the moment to, thank you for allowing me to, come on this platform and speak with you. I'm from Inglewood, grew up, Southern, California in the late 80s, early 90s. I lost my mom when I was about 10 years old. In 93, she was shot. I ended up losing my brother like 3 years later. I was kind of like in and out the system, juvenile hall, foster care, placements and stuff like that growing up, kind of having to fend for myself. So I grew up doing a lot of stuff, gang banging, getting into trouble, trying to survive. It wasn't the right way to do stuff, but, where I'm from, that was the only way. It's all we knew. So, I got in a lot of trouble, been in and out of jail since I was about 12 years old. I ended up going to jail when I was 19, doing 14 years for attempted murder. Came home, kind of, trying to do different things with my life. Learned a lot while I was in prison, hoping that I could go through the things that I went through that, maybe I can give it back. I remember my OGs in the pen used to always tell me, this knowledge in this game is supposed to be given away. You going through this so you can pass it down. So all the cats that was in prison in the 70s and the 80s, been down 20 years, they giving me this game and they telling me you have to pass it down. You have an obligation to give back to the younger homies, because if you don't do that, then they come up trying to figure it out when you got some of the keys to those locks that they looking for. So for me, it was like, okay, bam, I took that on my shoulders, and it's like I was getting so much good game that was helping me change my life and grow, not only as a person, but just as a man. So I knew I had a divine, obligation to get that back, to somebody else, that game that I was being given.
And what was the turning point, man, as far as in your life where you realized, like, you got to do something different? Because I know there's certain people that came into my life as far as mentors that kind of laced me up and showed me that I could be more than what I was doing. And it took me in another direction. But what was like one of the turning points in your life that kind of made you come to a point where you said, man, this is, I got to change it up?
It wasn't a person. It was just more so me realizing being tired. I got to the point where I felt like I was too old to let somebody else get me in trouble. Mm-hmm. First of all, I had to be in control of my destiny. And what I mean by that is my anger. My problem was always my anger. I always wanted to get violent. I don't care what it is. I'm 0 to 100. Any sign of disrespect, any sign of anything, I'm 0 to 100. So for me, it was working on my anger. What am I so mad about? Did whatever this person said or did, was it necessary for you to split his head open or try to stab him or shoot at him? You know what I'm saying? Was it really that necessary? So for me, it was more so once I got in touch with who I was and, mm-hmm. What was my difficulties in life and the stuff that I was going through, I was able to grow. So it wasn't one thing. And second, like one of the biggest influences, my kids, man. It's hard as fuck to watch your kids grow up through pictures in prison. Imagine doing 14 years and having 2 small kids on the streets that don't even know you already, and then you gone for their whole entire life. Your kids is teenagers by the time you come home. So for me, it was like, what other big push could there be to change or grow?
Mm-hmm. And as you got closer to getting home, man, and like kind of start putting your plans together, what I know like a lot of people ask me like, oh, rehabilitation. And I say like, you got to rehabilitate yourself. So it sounds like you did a lot of that on your own, which allowed you to prepare yourself to become successful when you got out.
Absolutely. I took the time myself, man, because it ain't the system. The system won't, give you all the tools. Their job is to house you and let you back out to society and hope you come back so they can keep a job. So for me, it was just like, okay, I had to learn. By doing that, I had to educate myself. What don't I know? What advantages could I give myself? Because here it is now. I'm not only a young black man, but I'm a young black man with strikes. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm also, deemed as this certain type of individual in society. So that's going to limit me sometimes in areas. So for me, it was more so, how can I arm myself with so much armor that they could never tell me no? Mm-hmm. What could I give myself? What is what type of things can I feed my brain? Not the negativity, not the dumb shit. I learned about accounting. I went and got a business degree in prison. All these things are gonna help me successful, when I get out. So that was more so my mindset of like, okay, bam, I gotta prepare myself and arm myself. That's so right. They could never tell me no. Mm-hmm. I create my own industries. I got 2 LLCs and I'm working on a third. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on my nonprofit, getting it all set up, tied into my corporation and everything. So, but through me educating myself and arming myself, I was able to come home and do that. I've been out 2 years and I ain't had a 9 to 5.
And you did time in the state, correct?
State, yes.
Okay. So once you got out and you started putting your plan together, what were some of the things that you had visualized that you actually manifest? I know you're into the music.
Absolutely.
And you got some other stuff going on out there. Maybe you could share some of that, because a lot of people be asking, what's some of the different jobs or hustles you can do? I'm an ex-felon, man. How do I, get on my feet?
I would tell anybody, man, you don't got to reinvent the wheel. I sell cars. I go to auctions, get used cars. It's something simple as that. It's a hustle. The same way, some of these dudes, you might have sold drugs or did this, right? It's still a hustle. Mm-hmm. You still got to go get a product. You got to flip it. You got to have the money. You got to, so it's the same thing. Now I just put my money, instead of dope, I put it in the cars. I'll put $1,500 into a car, flip it, and then sell it for $2,800. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Profit of, $1,300. Mm-hmm. It don't sound like a whole lot, but if you do that with 10 cars in a month, that's $13,000.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? I also opened up a studio. Since I do music, my whole goal in anything in business should always be to cut the middleman. Mm-hmm. So if the middleman is the engineer or you paying for studio time, okay, try to get your own. So what I did was I got my own, bought the equipment, made the sacrifices necessary. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times people aren't willing to make the sacrifices. They want shit, but they won't sacrifice. So everything I do and every decision I make, I associate it with prison. And what I mean by that is, if I was in prison and I was disciplined enough to wake up and go to work in the kitchen at 4:30 every morning for nothing, for free,
pennies.
And I did it every day for 5 years, why couldn't I be disciplined enough to come home and structure my life to where I'm not going to spend fuck money off on drink. I'm not going to the club. I'm not buying Jordans every month. You know what I'm saying? Those are the things I'm talking about, disciplining your spending and your habits to truly achieve what you trying to in life.
I see you liking all my pictures, slowly let me see you do it for me.
Yeah.
Put your number in my DM, baby. Maybe we can kick it later.
I live my life on the go at each and every stop. I'm on the grind for the paper, it'll never stop. I'm not good with relationships, status single. I'm in the club like, whoa, girl, who trying to mingle? I'm in kicking with a real one about the angles. Guess I did it once again, here's another single. I make this shit look easy like James Harden. Let you niggas work a 9 to 5 like Dolly Parton. I'm in that V12 slide, push it to the max. And if you're looking for the engine, dog, it's in the back. Now you women match the cars and we into that. Play your position, little mama, let me quarterback. I see you crushing on the nigga, checking out the swag. Girl, I just posted something new, I know you're liking that.
I see you liking all my pictures, slowly let me see you do it for me. Put your number in my DM,
That's Mac
baby. Maybe we can kick
Gardena.
liking all my pictures, slowly
Inglewood.
let me see you do it for me. Put your number in my DM, baby. Maybe we can kick it later.
So that was really my focus in being able to do that with my music. So, once I was able to get my own studio, I learned how to engineer. I taught myself how to work Pro Tools or whatever. So I don't got to pay somebody to come in and record me. I just put out a project actually today, March 24th, and And I engineered the project myself, recorded myself, mixed it myself.
What's the name of the project?
The name of the project is Check Me Out.
Okay.
Check Me Out.
And we'll have all the links in the description so you guys can check all that stuff out. Check out all his social media. What would you tell a lot of these youngsters out there, man, that's in the mix? Because we get a lot of young people as well as adults, college kids, asking about, you know, dealing with situations. What kind of advice would you give them, man? Like growing up, 'cause it's a different day and age now.
Absolutely.
Compared to when we were doing stuff, wasn't all the cameras and all that stuff and people
Absolutely.
talking about stuff. You know, now it's different, man. What could you lace these kids up with?
What I would tell any youngster, man, is understand that life is about choices. Understand no matter what your situation is right now, what it may be, the choices you make will affect your future. Choices that I made at 13, 14 years old still affect me at 34 years old. You know what I'm saying? So understand that life is about choices. Understand just because you may be in a circumstance of somebody that may be going through something worse than you or just like you, you're not the only one. Understand that it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to talk to people, because a lot of times we lean on our pride, and then our pride affects our choices, and then our choices always aren't the great ones. And once we make a bad choice, a lot of times we follow it up with another bad choice. So understand that life is about choices, and you got the choice to do whatever you want, because I truly believe God gave us all the greatness we needed. It was already given to us. It's up to us to tap into it.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? It ain't for nobody else to tell you. People told me when I was growing up, man, you got all the potential in the world. You're intelligent. I graduated with a 3.2 grade point average from high school. I just went to jail 10 days later. You know what I'm saying? So that was never the issue. The thing is being able to tap inside what you got and understand that the choices you make will affect, you know what I'm saying, you long term, and being able to take time to think.
And with that being said, too, how important do you think your association is as far as people you have around you? I know a lot. I plays a big factor on a lot of the things a lot of you guys get into, and powerful friends influence. You know.
It's great. You're greatly affected by the people you associate with. You know what I'm saying? You are the company you keep. It's very true. You know what I'm saying? If you hanging with people that's not doing nothing with their life, they're not doing nothing every day, you won't be inspired. I believe us as human beings, we are designed to be inspired, to provoke thought. You know what I'm saying? So if you're not being inspired, you're not provoking thought, no type of elevation, no type of evolution, then you defying what we was put on earth for. Life is about evolution. You got to grow. So if you surround yourself with people that's pushing you to be better, that's supporting you, you know what I'm saying, that has positive energy, those are the things that you're going to attract. When I was in the streets doing negative shit, I used to always wonder, like, damn, man, why this happened to me? Why I get into this shootout? How did that nigga know that was my car? You know what I'm saying? It was all, well, shit, I was shooting at people. I was breaking into shit. You know what I'm saying? I was robbing. I was, you know what I'm saying? I was doing all those things. So that was what was coming back in my life. I was a fool to think, I was naive to think that I can do these things and karma won't catch up to me. That, you know what I'm saying?
The energy ain't gonna be coming back.
The energy ain't coming back.
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent about the people I associate with. Like I touched on earlier, I'm too old to let somebody else get me in trouble. I'm too old for another man to have me sitting in prison doing life because he made a dumb choice in a club to go hit this dude with a bottle. And because I'm with you and the type of individual I am, I'm involved. Well, I'm the one with the record. When they come, I'm the one gonna do the time.
That's right.
So since I'm the one that's gonna do that time, since I'm the one with the record, I'm the one gonna make the choice who I associate with. I'm the one that's gonna make the choice who I allow in my space to affect my energy.
And that's a great point, man. Because I always tell people, you try to say, well, man, he told on me, man, or he did. Well, you had no business hanging out with him. Common sense. What in your heart, what you're doing is wrong anyway. But if you're around somebody, why even put yourself in that predicament? So I always tell people, man, your company is very important, and hearing it from you, it puts in another perspective because you had a different upbringing, and then it shows them how far you came.
Yeah.
And I think that's very important. What else would you like to share, man, as far as with your social media and stuff that you have going on, so people could actually find out more about you and your music and stuff that you're working on right now?
Well, my social media is Instagram Mannchester _3, Instagram. Make sure 2 N's. MANNCHESTER_3. Basically, man, my music is a reflection of my life. Some of the things that I touched on today, you know, I think God gave me the ability to paint pictures with my words and with my music. So that's what I try to do, you know. So my music is a reflection of everything that I've gone through, everything I experienced. I want to be able to give it back because I know it's somebody out there that's going through. So I know it's somebody that lost their mom. I've had 2 brothers die. I know it's somebody out there that lost a brother. I got an arm full of dead homies. I know it's somebody out there that lost dead homies.
Yeah.
So these are the things that I touch on. So, you know, my music, that's what I'm doing with my music. I want to be able to affect people. I want to be able to let people know, like, you ain't the only one. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fan of Pac. I grew up listening to Pac. My mom's died in 93 and my brother died in 96. All Eyes on Me is the blueprint to my life. It was the soundtrack of my life. You know, I can play every song and everything he talking about is something I was going through and I was feeling. So, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of feel I want to give people with my music.
Hey, y'all, you asked for it, so I brought it to you. This is Mannchester from Inglewood. Make sure you guys check out his social media and his music and let us know what's up, you know. Big Herc, fresh out. We're going to keep it real, and make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. This little spot you guys got, man, this is really dope, man. What was the inspiration behind, you know, putting all this together along with your studio?
Yeah, man, my bro, man, you know, it's a few hands involved in this and just the whole warehouse itself. You know, so it's kind of like a touch of all of us. It's inspired by, like, you know, Los Angeles, as you can see.
Yeah, you got
know.
the 110, the 10,
yeah,
USC.
You know what I'm saying? USC, you know what I'm saying? The Rams,
Lolos.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know, over here we got Inglewood, you know, so it's just a space of, you know, a few guys, man. It's just something, you know, we can enjoy, you know what I'm saying, and relax and, you know, come out here and don't gotta really go nowhere, one-stop shop.
And I think it's a really a positive thing, man, because, you know, you guys are, you know, coming together to put something like this together, which helps elevate each other. You know, It helps each other. And I know we were talking earlier, and before you even got out, you were already creating a buzz, man. Could you, you know, go into a little bit about that, man? How you was putting it down before you even touched the streets?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate to be able to have a phone while I was incarcerated, and instead of just, you know, being on the webs talking to chicks and stuff, you know, I picked up the pen and I started writing about 20 months before I got out, and I just couldn't stop writing. So when I got a phone, it was like, okay, the idea was like, okay, I'm gonna share with people, you know what I'm saying, my story, you know what I'm saying, because my writing really for me was therapeutic. It still is to this day. You know what I'm saying? My music is about moods and how I feel. So back then it was like, okay, I'm gonna get this to people, you know what I'm saying? It was a response, like, people keep going, you know what I'm saying, keep grinding. Numbers started to get up, you know, and as the months went by, you know what I'm saying, the lyrics got better, the delivery got better, you know what I'm saying, and it's like, okay, people was kind of anticipating video. Now I was doing it weekly, so every week people were starting to kind of anticipate when Mannchester gonna drop something new. If I went to the hole and was gone, didn't have a phone for about 9 months, you know, I have a bunch of messages like, you know what I'm saying, like, what's up, like, you ain't dropped nothing. So, you know, from my business training and learning in the pen, you know, ideas start popping. It's like, okay, I'm branding myself already.
That's right.
I already want to rap, so okay, I'm getting numbers, getting people anticipating my release and coming home, so I started to put a little bit more effort in it. Okay. You know, I started to not read off the paper no more. I started to memorize, you know what I'm saying? You know, so the more songs I could memorize and spit, now I could spit it in one take. I was able, my videos got better. Now I'm doing beats. You know, I went from beating on the table and beating on my chest, and now I'm doing, you know what I'm saying, I'm doing it off a live beat. So, you know, it just elevated. So by the time I came home, it was like, okay, we know who this dude is. Oh, that's the dude that was in the pen.
Hey, that's dope right there.
Yeah.
Hey, my man is a true hustler, and you guys need to take heed to that, because, you know, a lot of you guys out here making excuses. There ain't no excuse. There ain't no excuse.
I got t-shirts, man. I sell merchandise, man. I got a studio. I engineer. You know, I sell cars, man. I just grind.
Yeah.
You know?
I think, and it's great that you share that, because, like I said, hearing it from me is from one perspective, but to hear it from you and for all you've been through and to come out and make this happen, man, I think it's a beautiful thing, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Lockdown's over. Get your yard time in. Exclusively at FreshOutSeries.com.